Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a detailed review and unboxing on the Nike PG5 Black and White. To start things off, I am really excited to get the PG5s on court because the tech specs on these are definitely really exciting. Paul George's signature line is actually one of the best that Nike has to offer because you do get really good performance at a really budget price. The PG1 and PG2 were both really good, the PG3 was definitely an all-time favorite, and the PG4s were good as well. So it's safe to say that the PG5 does have some high standards to live up to. However, I do have an early feeling that the PG5 might even be better than the PG3, which is currently what I would consider the best Paul George signature of the entire line. But enough of that for now, and let's get into the unboxing. So the box on the Nike PG5 is this gray box that has this sort of blob looking or almost camo looking pattern. Then you do have Paul George's logo here on the top, his signature here on the side, and here at the back it says Paul George 5. It is a pretty nice looking box and it feels premium enough, like it's not the best, but it is a pretty budget shoe after all. So opening up the lid, you have some plain paper. And getting the left shoe, here you have the Nike PG5, and it does have an XDR tag because we are in the Philippines, and for the most part here in Asia we get a lot of XDR releases, so I'm definitely thankful for that. And early impressions is that, you know, it's even uglier in person than in pictures, but we'll get into that later. And here you have your left shoe, and the black and white colorway has been a sort of staple within the PG line ever since the PG3, and I'm not really sure why they do that. Because, you know, most other companies put out a wild colorway for the first colorway of a shoe, but with the Paul George signature line, you mostly get a simple black and white shoe as the first general release. So just closing up the lid and getting this shoe. And here you have it, guys. This is the Nike PG5 Black and White. Then for the tech specs on the Nike PG5, for the traction, it's actually a pattern that's very familiar, and it actually got me super excited to get this shoe and to try them out on court and give you guys a performance review, because this is the exact same pattern that we found on the Nike Kobe 9. Paul George is a very big Kobe fan because he did grow up in LA, and of course he was also a fan of Kobe shoes, which is why all of the Paul George signature shoes are these lightweight, low-cut shoes as well that share a lot of attributes with some old Kobe signature shoes. It is well documented that the traction on the Kobe 9 is definitely one of the best of all time, so if that doesn't get you excited for the traction on the PG5, then I don't know what will. I did try these out here on the wooden floors at home, and it was sticking really well, and it seems to work just as good as the Kobe 9. Of course, I can't say that for certain because I haven't played in these yet, but I will definitely update you in the performance review. Since the traction on the PG5 is the same as the ones on the Kobe 9, those rubber grooves are also pretty thin. However, these do come with XDR rubber, so that's a definite plus in terms of durability. So I would say that you could use these outdoors from time to time. However, if these are your main outdoor option, I still don't think it would last you a very long time. Then for the cushion, the Nike PG5 uses the same setup as the Nike PG4. So you have a full-length Phylon midsole and a full-length Air Strobel unit. The Nike PG4 was the first time that we saw a full-length Air unit as the Strobel board, and it was definitely such an enjoyable experience playing in those. Phylon on the shoe pretty much just acts as a carrier because the main cushiony feel and comfort come from that full-length Air unit. It definitely doesn't feel as bouncy as the Zoom Strobel unit on the KD12 and KD13. However, what you get is a super comfortable cushion setup that really absorbs a lot of impact. It also feels very fluid, lightweight, and doesn't feel clunky at all. So overall, the cushion on the PG5, just like the PG4, is one comfortable cushion setup and one that I really can't complain about at all. Then for the material, since the Paul George signature shoes are the cheapest signature shoes you can get from Nike, the place where they do most of their cost cutting is with the materials on the upper. On the upper of the PG5, we do have open-celled mesh here at the forefoot and midfoot, and they do feel soft enough. However, it does seem a little bit plasticky and a little bit glued down as well. So you can really hear it when you kinda, you know, go through it with your fingernails, because this isn't the sound you're supposed to be hearing with soft textile. You also have some synthetic leather in between between the forefoot and midfoot, and you have it here on the heel as well. That synthetic leather is probably as cheap as it can get. However, it does give it a little bit more of a premium look, even though the material itself is definitely far from premium. Then lastly, you do have some nice and soft neoprene here on the tongue, here on the ankle collar, and here at the heel tab as well. This heel tab does go up pretty high, but it is a good thing that it's a super soft neoprene, so this really won't bother you at all. The materials are definitely pretty cheap feeling, especially in hand. However, on foot, they do feel comfortable, and they do seem like they'll get the job done. Then for fit and sizing, I did go true to size with the Nike PG5, and it gives me a perfect 1-to-1 fit. It actually fits almost the same as the Nike PG4, however, I am thankful that this has a detachable tongue and not that one-piece construction that the PG4s had, which makes this so much easier to put on than the PG4s. The fit is perfect all throughout, from the forefoot, the midfoot, and the heel, and there really isn't any dead space to complain about. It does fit more on the 1-to-1 or the snug side, so if you like your basketball shoes to have a little bit more of a loose fit, then you can definitely go up half a size. So my recommendation for the sizing is to go true to size if you have a narrow foot or a normal width foot, and then go up half a size if you have a wide foot, or if you're one of those people that want a looser fit on their basketball shoes. Then for the aesthetic details, you do have a very light blue here on the outsole, and the pattern does have that foot map design. Then here at the midfoot, you have this pretty cool hourglass-like cutout, which allows you to see the orange midfoot shank that has PG's logo. You also have this oval cutout here at the heel, which exposes the air unit. Visible air is definitely something that has always been a staple of Nike, so it's cool to see that even in 2021, we still have visible air. Then the on midsole is in that white, and you have some air branding here at the heel, as well as here on the lateral side with that midfoot shank that pokes out. You also have these weird blob looking pieces of Phylon foam that come up here on the forefoot and heel of the lateral side and the heel part of the medial side. They are there for lateral containment, which was definitely one of the only issues with the PG4, so I am glad that they rectified it on the PG5. However, in terms of the aesthetic details, they just look kind of weird. And they also have this embossed pattern with circles, and it just looks pretty weird. And then here at the heel, you have some rubber that comes up, and you have Paul George's number 13. Then on the upper, that open-celled mesh, that synthetic leather, and that neoprene are all in black. And then you have some yellow details, starting off with that Nike swoosh here at the forefoot, this PG logo here at the base of the laces, and this random bit of heavy stitching on the lateral side of the forefoot as well. Then here on the tongue, you have PG's logo, and that hourglass shape is also outlined by some yellow stitching. Then for the last detail, you have this pretty cool swoosh here on the lateral side of the heel that has this pretty cool gradient that sort of changes with the angle, and is pretty much the most striking detail of the entire shoe. Then for the overall aesthetics of the shoe, I'm not feeling these at all. I just really don't know what I can like about these in terms of aesthetics. I don't like that the heel tab is just really high. The colorway also just seems super basic. The placement of the Nike swooshes are also not my thing. Like, I'd rather have this somewhere else, and I'd rather have this in the middle rather than way back here in the heel. And just the overall shape of the shoe, it's just kind of off for me. And it's just, in all honesty, one of the uglier shoes I've ever reviewed on the channel in terms of performance basketball. However, the redeeming quality of the PG5 is that I think it's gonna perform really well. So for me, even if a shoe is ugly by my standards, just as long as it performs well on court, I don't really mind that much. Of course, the PG5s are gonna be available on Nike by You, so it might just look better in a different color scheme. So I just wanted to ask as well how you feel about the aesthetics on the PG5. Do you like them, or are you like me and you're more on the side of, these are pretty ugly? Then for the price, the Nike PG5 retails for 5,895 pesos here in the Philippines, or $110 US. It's great that there wasn't any price increase between the PG4 and PG5, and Nike was able to keep it at that $110 range, since the Paul George signature shoes have been pretty much one of the best budget options from Nike. It also does seem to outperform its price because, as I said, it has that Kobe 9 traction pattern, the same cushion that we found on the PG4, and materials that, even though they do feel cheap in hand, will hopefully get the job done really well. These are already available at the Nike Philippines website, but if you are watching from the US, these are releasing on Feb 21, and they're also going to be releasing on Nike by You. So there you have it, guys. That was my detailed review and unboxing on the Nike PG5. black and white. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then also make sure to join the SNBPH Sneaker Hunters Facebook group because that's where I conduct all of the raffles for the channel, and we'll also be opening pre-order soon for SNBPH merch. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.